guys. Welcome to another Thursday edition of Inspiring Lots of Change in Epic Ways to help each other and rock out this 2017. It's going to be amazing. Our Super Sunday was super amazing. Super Sunday. Hi, Elizabeth. It was super amazing. We had Carl Deichler as our guest speaker. Yeah. And Julie Vorez as the master trainer, who was just as inspirational as Carl. It was an amazing event. And I recorded, and so I think a couple of other coaches recorded Carl and recorded Julie in length. So if you haven't had an opportunity to go listen to that, I know it's not short. It's at least 30 minutes or 25 minutes or one or the other. So just go listen, because they gave a lot of awesome mojo. And Carl really talked about where the business was going in this year in 2017, and talked about what 2016 looked like and what this year's going to look like for our clients and us as coaches. So it's really good just to listen to it and maybe listen and not look at my shaky hand after a while. I was like, so recording it live. But Julie's talk from a coach's perspective was amazing. So please take the time to watch it in the live feed, and you should be able to find it pretty easy. So do that, and I hope you guys got to go to some Super Sundays and Saturdays yourselves, those that are here and those that are watching this recording. So we are in the second week now, going into January. The All Access Challenge Pack is still hot and until the end of February, and I don't know what will happen after that. It might go up in price. I can't imagine them getting rid of it altogether, but they might. So definitely talk to your coaches, your clients, your teams now, and get people the upgrades, because it is amazing. Has everybody upgraded? Mine happened pretty fast. They all started popping over into the purchase programs area. That's where mine are, and I'm loving it. So I hope you guys are too. It's pretty amazing. I am excited. Okay, so I don't know if some of you are in Lindsay Matway's vision board 5-day kind of overview class that she's doing on her Facebook event. I joined it because I wanted to, definitely see what she had to say. And I really love it. Her videos on how to cast a vision and just how she started in 2012, I think, 13 when she started, 11 as a coach. And just her videos on that have been really inspiring. I've really enjoyed it. It's just jump in and join, and someone will approve you. But if you're not already, I think I try to tag some people, and you're not in the Beachbody Champions page, please go and join. It's just Beachbody Champions. Make yourself join that up, because it is there's super content on there. There's always a coach popping and doing a live video. It is excellent training. So please join that group. Today, I just want to introduce Jessica Bowman. If you don't know her, you need to go follow her. She's an amazing coach. No, guys, Jessica's here with us tonight to talk about building relationships. Jessica just celebrated her 2-year anniversary as a coach. I can remember messaging her in those early days of my coaching, being really nervous to send her a message, because we knew each other, but it was one of those messages where it's like, I know you, and I know saw each other at church or places out, and I was just like, I'm just gonna send this message. I have a new group. Are you interested? Just that message, you send it. And he was like, send those messages, send 20 a day. And I'm like, 20 a day? I don't know anybody. And so I just started going kind of through the list, and I saw, I was like, I know her. That's not too scary. And she responded. And we had a conversation. I remember her conversations exactly. She wanted to check her finances to make sure it was a fit. She wasn't sure, and she just wasn't sure if she could do it right now. She was nervous about that. And so I showed her PIO. I couldn't remember the other ones. She probably do. But she saw PIO as something that sounded so she could do. And she liked yoga, and she was like, okay, that sounds good to me. And so she left the conversation. She went and looked, and she came back, one of those who did, and said, I am going to do this. And I'm like, yeah, you're okay. And then, it's all history from there, right? She had a great experience with the product. She loved Shakeology. And I remember we went to a Super Saturday together. Is that what it was, Jess? Yeah. And we talked in the car for a long time after that. Was it a Super Saturday? And I just remember sitting in front of your house, just talking about coaching and just saying, I'm like, you just have to talk to people. She's like, well, I could do that. I think I could do that. And then we just like, yeah, okay. Let's see if you could do that. I bet you can. She went inside, and then here she is, guys. And she's a diamond coach with Team Rocker Strong, and just a product of the product. She's probably the first person who did a live video on our whole team before me even. She showed she just went out and paved the way. She is consistent. She shows up on our team page. When you get those, you have these things where you can look on your phone that says what most people search for, or people search for most on your page, and things that come up. And Jessica Bowman's name is there. Like, that's somebody who shows up every day on the page, and it's like Jessica Bowman. She's on there, and so it just an exciting sharing about how to grow the business, how to foster relationships, because she's so good at it, and how she's just rallied her team this last couple months is so amazing. She's got great goals. She's gonna rock it out. And so I just want you guys to take it all in, and then think of questions to ask Jess at the end, because that's something else too, is learning something while we're here and then implementing it. Okay, so I'm gonna mute all of us except Jess. Let me see. Let me go do that and let her start, and let her just share what her knowledge and her love for people. And let me mute everybody. Then I'm going to unmute you, Jess. Hold on. Where are you? There you are. Okay. I'm muted. No. You're good. All right, guys. Welcome.
Hi, everybody. So I'm a little nervous because I normally am okay with talking, but I actually prepared a PowerPoint this one. So be kind, because I don't know. Hopefully it's good. It's really pretty basic because I didn't want to overwhelm you with things. So I just kind of wanted to share a little something. So there we go. Okay. So this is just a little about who am I, and my talk's on build your relationships, because for me, that's kind of where I think I define myself a lot of times, is who I am is by my relationships. And so there's all my people on the team that was in Nashville at Summit, which is awesome. And then my two coaches, Anna and Elizabeth, who came to Super Sunday. So if anybody hasn't been to one, a Super Saturday, Super Sunday, you really need to go, because there's nothing like a live event. Okay, so that's who I am, and these are more current pictures, except my wedding picture. But that picture is where I started. So that's the summer right before Mona messaged me. That's where I was. It's not even so much for me when I look at this picture about what I weighed. It's just more of the look on my face. And my husband's cousin posted that picture, and I was so embarrassed I untagged myself, because I was like, no, I am not, do you not want anyone to see that picture? That's horrible. Now I share it all the time. But so for me, when Mona found me, we did know each other, but when she approached me about the opportunity to join her group, this is where I was in my life. I was not smiling very much. I was miserable. I was angry. I was depressed. My relationships in my life sucked big time, because I just was really unhappy with myself. And I think I felt I was home with my child, who was 4, at the time. And I own a medical transcription business also. So I was doing that, and I was home with him. My husband was working weird hours. I just felt really like in a bubble, and I wasn't really like seeing my friends. I wasn't going anywhere. Like the only adult interaction was with my husband. And so he just got like, you know how, I mean, like for anyone that's ever stayed home with their children for any length of time, then when another adult walks in, it was like he just got like all the things that I thought about all day long, like all day long. And so that was actually like really stressful for him. And, you know, it was creating this, I just wasn't really working on the relationships in my life. So I didn't want to go anywhere. I just kept gaining weight. I tried running. I'd tried Weight Watchers. I had tried, at one point in my 20s, I had tried some kind of diet pill. I couldn't even tell you now what kind of pill that was. So I don't think it's on the market, which probably is good. I had tried gym after gym after gym after gym. I really was at a point where I was like, I think I'm just going to have to accept that I'm just going to be the heavy girl. Like I'm just going to be overweight. Like that's what I had gotten to, is that point of acceptance with it. And so when Mona reached out to me, I was just like, I don't know. You know, I was kind of like, I think I'm just going to be the heavy girl. That's where I'm going to be in my life. And, but she kept messaging me. She was pretty persistent. I was like, oh, there she is asking me how my day is again. You know, like my day's fine, leave me alone, you know, but, cause I just wasn't like in a good place with myself. Like I didn't even really want to talk to anybody. Like I just got on Facebook to post a bunch of political crap, and like that was it. Like I was like, oh, your baby's cute, yay for you, you know, your life looks happy and I'm miserable. So but she, you know, kept messaging me and checking on me, and it just planted that seed. And so, you know, when I looked at these pictures, and I just started realizing like I had kind of lost who I was. Like I used to be the fun girl, you know, with my friends. Like they would be like, you're the fun girl, fun Jessica. And I wasn't that anymore. I wasn't having fun. I wasn't happy. I was rarely smiling. I wouldn't take pictures with people. I was like just not in a good place. So long story short, Mona messaged me Pio at 2186, and I can't remember what the third one was, but Pio, I was like, that totally looks, and I really wanted to do it, but it just wasn't sure it was going to fit. So I worked it out, got signed up, and then the challenge group. And for me, that's kind of where, like, I believe in the challenge groups. I believe in the products. I know our products work. I know they do, the workouts and the shakes. But for me, what really works is the group, the accountability, the people, the relationships. That's what keeps me coming back. That's what gets me to press play, is because of the challenge group, because of the people that are relying on me, the people that are holding me accountable. I looked forward to the challenges every day. I liked posting my food. I liked those, you know, those fun, like everybody was very real, and I was actually interacting with people kind of in this private, safe setting. You know, I do remember there being some challenges where they're like, post on your wall. And I was like, okay. And I did. And that's kind of what led me to coaching, posting on my wall about how, I think I did a plank challenge or something, and all my friends were like, oh, what are you doing? So, so this is my transformation. So I lost 45 pounds. You can see there's clearly a visible transformation. I mean, and this one on the right, like, okay, so that was the picture from before to, you know, now, like how much more light there is in my face, how much happier I am. And that's because it wasn't just about weight for me. It really was more than that. So, okay, found this quote. I don't even know who said it, but the path to healing lies in genuine human connection. And that's really to do, if you're at all a people person at all, it's easy to do in person. When we start to try to do it on social media, it can feel, when we're talking about just like, hey, here's my kids or whatever, it's fine. But when we start to try to add in, how do we make this also part of our business, you start to kind of wonder, like, I don't want to be salesy, right? These are probably things you've said to your coach. I'm not a salesperson. I don't want to be salesy. I don't want my friends to like get tired of seeing my stuff. I'm not sure I have anything to talk about. So it gets more difficult when we try to carry those relationships over onto our social media page. So these were some things that stuck out to me that I've learned over a couple years in training. Be real, be vulnerable. And Mona was talking about this last week. Be interested, not just interesting. People want to feel like you actually care about them. So, you notice when like if you comment on someone's post and they like everyone's comment but your comment, like you notice those things, right? You're like, hey, do they not like me? Do they not like my comment? So you want them to be interested in what you have to say. So one way to do that with post to your personal page, because this is part of the human connection. It's not just in the private messages. That's why I'm including this. Is sharing your story. And everybody's story is different. And parts of my story, I haven't even though I've shared a lot of my story in the last couple of years on my page, there's still a lot I haven't shared. Like there's still a lot of things that I could like go deep with, but there's those pieces and parts. And so I suggest starting with the part that's the easiest to share. You may not want to start with the like really deep, dark places. Those are harder to open up, right? And you have to find a way to get from that dark place to the light in your post. People don't necessarily want to get on there and just read how sad someone has it. They want to know like how they overcame it. And so that's what you're kind of showing people is that like if I'm somebody running through my Facebook and I see your post, and I just had a miscarriage, which is something that I have gone through. Say I've had that, and I see a post from someone who's saying, I had a miscarriage, and I was really depressed. And then they're sharing how they got out of that depression and how they found a happier place. I think we've had the blessing to have, with Anita as Mona's coach and being in our upline to see how she went through something really, really tragic, and she's managed to make that as positive as she can. That sometimes you're just barely hanging on, but that's still positive. So I think sharing your story can be, I suggest just sitting and writing down the things in your past or in your most recent life. Like what happened right before you decided to join a challenge group? Like what was happening right before that? And then kind of backtrack it from there. So, and then this is something I saw on a call with Bonnie Engel. She said you go from the why to the how or the what. So, so I've been trying to do this with my post this past week is like the, why I'm doing something and then what it is that I'm doing. So instead of just being like, here's my workout, I think I posted today about how I hate cardio. So, but here's why, here's why I'm doing cardio, and then here's what I'm doing with the cardio, the roll jumps. I hate roll jumps. So not just with your workouts, but just the why are you doing it, and then what it is that you're doing, kind of tossing that in. So, and we impress people with our strengths, but we connect with them through our weaknesses. You're not going to ever be perfect. So if you're waiting till like your body is perfect and you have that six pack to post about your story or your transformation or whatever, maybe you already have a six pack, rock on if you do, but I don't. So if I wait and that's gonna take me a while, but if I waited until that point to share, I would like never share anything at all. So it's the in between that people really relate to. They relate to that, like they're where you were before you started. So they need to know that there's like an in between instead of just what the end result can be. So, I mean, it is good to share other people's transformations, that maybe it is somebody like who started here and then they've got a six pack, but it doesn't necessarily have to be yours, because you're trying to attract them to you, not someone else. So with your story, finding your voice and loving what you do. And then on your page, and I think everybody, I mean, the people that I see seem to be doing this really well, adding value, you know, little things like, you know, how you have, let's see, how you're adding water. Like Susan did one today about water. That was a really valuable post. She wasn't like being salesy about it. I mean, she's not selling water as far as I know. She was just like, hey, let's challenge each other, drink water. It's good for us. There was nothing beach body in that post. So, but it attracts people to, hey, what is she? That's good. I'm going to do that too. And so it's those little ways that you add value, sharing recipes, sharing your skills. I think somebody in our team knits or something, and you know, they'll share those things, and that's going to attract people to you that like that stuff or that want to be able to do that thing. I would love to be able to knit. I don't know if I can sit still long enough, to be honest. So, okay. And then, so here's to the connecting one-on-one. And this is really, for me, okay, so part of this is the boring stuff, like creating a tracking system. It is not sexy. It is not the part of the job that's like, yay. I mean, unless you love data sheets, Excel spreadsheets, and all that stuff, then you will love tracking. But some of our teachers in the group might really love the tracking system. For me, it's taken me a long time. That's probably been one of my biggest weaknesses. And it was fine in the beginning, but I went from 400 friends to now like 2,800 friends. I needed a tracking system. And so I suggest if you're in the beginning part of your business, do that now, because if you do it on the front end instead of like I'm doing it on the back end and I'm having to like backtrack. So it's working, but I'm just saying go ahead and get something in place and play around with it. I thought pen and paper worked for me, and it does. I mean, I keep lists, but Streak is what I've been using. I went back to it, and I'm really liking it more. I feel like they've sped it up or something. There was like a lag, and it was taking me too long. So you want to do a tracking system, because like as I add somebody to my page, I'm adding them in my Streak, and I can share a picture of that in the team page so people know what it looks like. Or there's Brooke Lipkoff. She does a whole video on it. So as I add people, I put them in my system, and they're in like an added file. And then I will click on them and go, you know, to their page. Usually within that week that I've added them, I'll go and start like just liking their stuff. So it starts with that, just the like and the comment. You know, you might be like, oh, I don't even really know them. They're going to think I'm some kind of creeper. They aren't. If they've accepted your friend request, they're probably not even going to think about it. But they might be thinking, oh, I forgot. I think I should know her, and I've forgotten why I don't know her. So I wouldn't worry about that too much. So I do messages like, I've shared this with the team before. I do happy birthday. I hope you have the most amazing day. And now if they message me back, thank you, or it has been a good day, then I'm like, oh, that's awesome. What are you doing to celebrate? So I add that question in there, because it gives a question, it keeps the conversation going. But I also am getting to know them, because some people will be like, oh, I'm spending it with my kids. And so, oh, okay, she's a mom. Or, you know, my fiance is taking me out for whatever. Oh, she's getting married soon. You know, so it kind of helps me get to know them too. The good thing about Streak is you can keep notes in there too. So I can like put little notes about them. So, and I actually just finished the Go Giver. So that's going to be my PD assignment for you all. If you want a PD book, is the Go Giver. It's awesome. And it's very short. And if you've read the Energy Bus, it flows a lot like that. Like it's a story with lessons in it, but it's an actual like story. So want people skills, be a person. So be curious, ask questions, remember details, and you're not going to be able to remember everybody. As your network grows and grows, you're not going to be able to be, like, sometimes I might get two people with the same first name mixed up, and I have to, like, look through the messages, I'm like, oh, okay, here's what we were talking. Now I remember. So that's a great thing about Messenger. But you want to make people feel valuable. And it starts with just those little things, those little questions. Message them before you ever invite them. You should have already messaged them at least once or twice about something totally unrelated to Beachbody, so that you can kind of get to know them a little bit. And because most of these people you're not going to you may never meet in person, or you may be like once because they live cross country. We're talking with people who are anywhere. So you want to make people feel really valuable. And I think that that's the thing for me. When I look back to where I was at the end of 2015 in my first year of coaching, my business wasn't where I wanted it to be. And I was really feeling like out of touch. Like I was feeling like I wasn't, I felt like I wasn't doing it right. I felt like I was just like a robot. Like I was just kind of like, I was sending my messages every day. I was very consistent. I am consistent, if nothing else. So I was sending my messages, but people were just not responding. They were ignoring me. And it was because I wasn't connecting with them in any other way. Like I thought, oh, well, I've liked some of their things. I've occasionally commented, and that just wasn't enough. Like when somebody posts about their son just got an acceptance letter to college, private message them, congrats to your son on his college acceptance, because to them, you just took the time to take it from just a like and a comment on their post to actually private messaging them, which I know it really doesn't take any more time, but to them, it feels more personal. They feel like you actually cared enough to make it private message where they can then message you back, and they might be like, oh, where's he going, or whatever. You can kind of feel it out from there. And I've had messages that have gone from I totally had no intention of inviting them to a challenge group to they were basically asking me about what I was doing because I didn't even have to bring it up. So then we talked about pain points, and Mona's brought this up too, and I think we've had, some other leaders on the team. That's where you connect with people. So once people will share those on their page, and if you note that they have, shared something like, I really would like to eat healthy, but I don't even know where to start. That's a pain point for them. They don't even know, like they don't have that beginning point. So you could message them, be like, hey, you want me to send you a meal plan or, what I do? Or I've got this free clean eating group coming up next week. Do you want to join? We get free meal plans and, we do a workout and then it's yours to keep, whatever, totally free, no obligations. So those are ways to kind of turn their pain points into, then that group is a way to get to know them even better. So then I was like, how can you help them? So the free resources like the challenge groups, the meal plans. I have people messaging me for meal plans. It's free. I'm not making any money by sending them a free meal plan. That's not necessarily like a check in, it's not getting deposited into my account, but it's building that relationship. And I keep my meal plans on hand. So it's not like, it's really just a attach and send. Then I have their email address, attach and send, good to go. They'll remember me the next time that they need. You want them to remember you when they think about health, fitness, support, that whole, group of things. You want them to think about you. When they're thinking, gosh, I really wish I could eat healthier, but I'm just so busy. I don't know how. And I always skip breakfast, and then I would look up and I haven't even eaten until noon, and then I'm starving. I grab everything. That for me was a pain point. I was totally skipping breakfast. I was drinking my coffee, and then at 1 o'clock in the afternoon, I was scrounging around in my pantry eating cheese puffs and who even knows what else. I cannot even tell you. I was just like mindlessly grabbing food agree. So for me, the solution was Shakeology to that pain point, but I didn't know that at the time. So those free groups, and then I did an ebook, which is super easy, and I'm going to do a training on that in a couple months, but it was super easy. It did take some time, but I feel like the next one won't take as long. It's just user error probably. So this is from the book, The Go-Giver. Most people just laugh when they hear the secret to success is giving. And again, most people are nowhere near as successful as they wish they were. So there's a lot of coaches on our team like that really talk a lot about that. Jill Gorby talks about free groups or how she meets most of her people. Ivy Hoyt is like, she like gives away everything, but she's like really doing great with her business. But I've had conversations with her. She's like, she is so generous. And so I think for me, that's been my aspiration is like, I want people to really feel like they connected with me. Like I want them to feel like they know me. I want them to feel like I'm their friend. I have run into people, like one of my neighbors, I ran into her. I had never met her in person. And she's like, Jessica, hey. I'm like, oh my God, I don't know who that is. We've become friends now, but at the time it was like she knew who I was because she associated me with my health, my videos and conversations. We'd had conversations, but I didn't know she'd moved into my neighborhood. So, okay. So then with relationships, when you're back to a little bit to the private messaging, when you get to the invitation part, by then they should feel like it doesn't have to take forever. This is a slower way. I know it's not like the quick, like you meet them and then the next week you ask them to join your group. You can, and maybe that works for you. My approach, it just wasn't working for me. People needed to feel like they knew me a little better, and probably because it didn't feel right. It wasn't the right fit for me. Like I needed it to flow a little bit. I needed the relationship more before I was sending it. So by the time you have invited them, then you kind of know them a little bit better. So, there's scripts in the team page that you can use. I've taken that script and made it sound more like me, but it still flows in the order, but I don't copy and paste as much because most of the time I'm not having to say very much just because I already know them. They already trust me. I can say, oh, I know you said that, like for my friends that are nurses, I know those 12-hour shifts are super hard and you probably, it's going to be hard for you to work out on those days. You could do the 10-minute trainer on those days and do your 21-day fix on the other days. And so I've already like gotten to know them and kind of how their life is a little bit, and can kind of get past some of those objections with them too. So, and then this has been really big for me this past year, was really, and okay, so I'm a Kentucky fan, and yesterday on the radio, John Calipari said this: work with what you have, not just what you want. He was talking about in recruiting, which is kind of, we're trying to find coaches for our team. Well, he's building a team too. And so he's been visiting players. He's already replaced. They've already signed to the team. He doesn't have to convince them to come. They're already going to be here next year, but he's still visiting them. He's still going to their home and meeting with their family, meeting with them. And he said, because they need to know that I care about them, that I didn't just recruit them to like this team and I don't care about them. Like I actually still need to be building that relationship. And it was funny because it was just last night, so I added it to my slide. But in your groups, so you want to be your best challenger. It doesn't mean you want to be perfect, but you just want to be the one who, like, if you do if you post up a challenge, do the challenge. If you're like, we're going to plank for a minute, you better be planking for a minute. If you can't plank for a minute, don't put up a plank challenge. I've learned that lesson. When I'm like, 45 seconds is the best I could do. And you want to like and comment on every post. It's really hard to do. I know when we do the really big team ones and there's like, well, we start out with like 70, 80 people. We end up with only like, people just get busy. But I do try every night to include in my to-do list to go back, to actually go to my challenge group. Yeah, the one I'm running is a little bit smaller, the one I'm running by myself. So I can do that every night. People post their accountability. And I kind of include that in my day. So in the evening, I check to see who's posted. And then in the morning, I check to see who's posted. And you want to make things interesting. You don't have to give big prizes. I give out, I don't even know if I have any. Oh, little headbands. They're just fun. They're nothing all that big, but it makes it fun for them to get a little something. So, and then the personal touch. So I message every week. I sit down with my calendar and I write down 4 or 5 of my challengers and coaches. So at least 2 coaches I want to touch base with. And that's, whether they're working the business or they're, just they're coaching because they want the discount, I still put them on my list. They're coaches that I follow up with. And I schedule a time to chat with them. I've also made it available that they can schedule a half hour every week if they want. I have one challenger that does that. She calls me every week and we talk for 30 minutes at a set time. And we just kind of go over what she's been struggling with. And, I set those hours. So you don't have to do any of that. But if you wanted to do it, just keep in mind it's your business. So you set your hours. If you're like, I can only chat on Sundays by phone, then that's, Sunday afternoon from 1 to 3. And I did a scheduler, so they have to put in there. And so it's like an appointment. They get a reminder, I get a reminder. So in private messenger, for the ones I'm not talking to on the phone, I don't just ask like, hey, how's it going with the challenge? I do ask about that, but that's not really where I start. If I see that they've had a rough day, a rough week, I'm going to ask about that. If I see that they're sick, I'm going to say, how are you feeling? And I know these things I've shared sound really elementary probably, but I think we sometimes forget these are things we would do if we saw people in person. Like you wouldn't even think twice about being like, oh, I saw you're sick. How are you feeling? But online, we just kind of get in our own little bubble and we get in our monotony of like, I got to send my messages and I got to add to my network and I got to do my workout. And so we get kind of in that box and we kind of forget those little small touches. And then the weekly recognition, I actually came up with this because of the lovely Megan on our team who spoke to us about recognition. I really struggled with recognition, and not because I love to praise people. Like people my friends who I know in like my real life would tell you, like, I'm always like, oh, she's awesome. She's great. I love her. But for some reason on my page, I was like, they're going to think I'm weird because I'm like tagging them and saying they're cool. Like they're going to think I'm creepy. So I just decided to start doing it. So I've been picking a challenger of the week and doing a motivational Monday challenger of the week. Sometimes it's based on their transformation. Sometimes it's just based on the fact that they're showing up every single day and they're being accountable. And that's motivational. Sometimes it's like, I've got one it's like so-and-so has gotten down to 1 Diet Coke a week, and that was huge. She was drinking like 6 a day. And, so little things like that are motivating, but people can relate to that. And that person that you're tagging is also feeling like you're actually noticing what they're doing, because we do this for ourselves, right? I mean, I do, but I'm also a person who likes for people to tell me that I'm doing a good job. And I like for people to notice when I'm doing a good job. Like if my husband came home and had cleaned the whole house from top to bottom, which will never happen. If that happened, he'd probably think I paid a cleaning lady or something. I don't know. But I would want him to just be like, hey, the house looks great. So it's just, you want people to notice you and praise you. And so do that with your challengers. I do send thank you notes. I do that mostly with my leads that I get through Beachbody, which once you become Emerald, you get leads. I just send a, not really a thank you, but just a hi, I'm your coach, just a little card. just saying if you need anything, because I do send them an email, but they probably think I'm spam. So if they get a note to their house, I haven't noticed any of them like taking their address out or anything. So they might think I'm a stalker, but, and then if somebody's local, invite them for coffee or host a group gathering. So I know we've had some talk about that on our team about, just, it's not that we only care about the people who are local, but those are the people near you. And then when your coaches and challengers who are farther away see that, then they might want to do the same thing. Like they might want to invite the people around them too. And then don't be afraid to pick up the phone. And I am guilty as charged on this one, and that's why I included it, because who freaks out when your phone rings? Anybody? Yeah. I'm like, who is calling me? No way. I'm not picking the phone up. Like, I do not like to answer the phone, but I'm trying to be better about that, because some people need a phone call. If they don't, I had one lady ask if I could chat. I thought that she meant like talk. I mean, I thought she meant actually talk. And she's like, "Are you busy? Can you chat?" And I was like, "Well, sure. You want me to call you?" And she's like, "Oh no, don't call me. That's just on here." And I was like, "Oh, well, okay, sure." So, which was actually I liked better, but it's just funny because she's like, "No, do not call me." But that's, some of us are phone people. Some of us are email people. Some of us are messenger, text, whatever. My very best friend never answers my phone calls. I mean, she is like my sister. She doesn't answer my phone calls. She is not a phone person. So you have to kind of know your audience too. And then this quote by the lovely Maya Angelou: "I've learned that people will forget what you said, people will forget what you did, but people will never forget how you made them feel." And I think for me, and Mona was even talking about, Bonnie Engel talked about how you want to be remembered. For me, I want people to feel like I want to make people feel special. I want people to feel like when they were around me, they felt better. I want people to feel like they want to be around me because I lift them up, or I'm a shoulder to cry on. Basically just being a good friend. That's how like if I had picked my tombstone, that would be, she was a great wife, mother, and friend. I mean, that for me is who I want to be. And so, I know that was a lot. I don't usually do PowerPoints. I usually just talk, but I felt like I needed to. For me, it's those little touches. Like I said, I know that it seems really common sense, but I wasn't doing them for like a whole year. I mean, I think what I was doing, I was getting lost in my news feed, but I was missing a lot of people. And that's the reason I suggest doing a tracking system, so that you don't forget about those people. Because they know you forgot about them even if you don't remember them. So, but it really has really changed my business. I helped twice as many people in 2016 as I did in 2015. I had more people reaching out to me. I had more people coming to me who I'd talked to 2 and 3 and 4 months ago. I had people randomly messaging me, or, I would message them and be like, "Oh, I've been wanting to ask you about that." So, I think it helps to get over the fear of the invite if you've already kind of built a relationship, and it makes it feel not so salesy. But now keep in mind that what you have to offer them, go back to what it did for you. So for me, my life was completely changed, because I am no longer in that deep, dark place anymore. I mean, it doesn't mean that every day is perfect. My life is not all sunshine and rainbows, but I feel like I know if I survive that I can survive pretty much anything. So, and it sounds silly to say that Beachbody did that for me, but it did. And it wasn't just Beachbody, but it was my coach and all of you, that I've connected with, all the coaches I've connected with on a larger team, and all my challengers who show up every day and they make me laugh, and they keep me honest. I mean, the other day in our group, we were sharing about how, somebody said, after I posted, I had 5 Christmas cookies. So then, I was like, well, I had 5 cheese puffs. Apparently cheese puffs are my thing. And somebody else was like, I had this, and it's like, we're just a bunch of like my cheater eaters, but it was just funny because it was like, I wasn't the only one. Like here I was like, I posted my food and then I had 5 cheese puffs. So, but then you feel comfortable sharing that because somebody else shared it. So, I think just trying to make your relationships as real and honest and authentic and bring yourself to the table every time. And if something feels like, messaging is never going to not feel awkward, I don't think. I mean, I've been doing it 2 years and there's still some times when I just have to be like, okay, send, and then walk away because I'm nervous because you're putting yourself out there. But the more that people have seen who you are, the more likely they are to at least respond to you. The more honest and authentic you are on your page and in your messages with them, they're at least likely to give you a response. It might be a no, but thank you, or no, but you're super inspiring. It might be, hey, yeah, tell me more. I mean, you just never know what the response is going to be. So, but once you've built that relationship, they feel bad if they don't at least tell you something. So, I intend to move forward. This is what's worked for me. And I know, some people do cold messaging, some people don't, and that's okay. You have to find what works for you. And what's worked for me is to base my business on relationships, helping my challengers get really good results and being there for them every day. Like there's not a day that goes by that I don't at least check into that challenge group once. I mean, I may check in to say, I have a stomach virus, so I will not be checking in here all day, but, here's your challenge, or here's your, let's plan some meals or whatever. But I at least check in that once and then show up the next day to comment on everything. But they've gotten to where they can, I've kind of created a culture in my group now, like they're commenting before I've ever even gotten to it. So, they're seeing, I think, the importance, like I'm leading by example of building that relationship, and now they're just doing it all on their own. So, that's how I built my business, on relationships. That's it. That's all I have to say.
Jessica, that was
really, I feel like it was boring. I'm sorry if I bored you.
Really,
I normally do PowerPoint.
No, it was wonderful. I love the PowerPoint. It really, I can't wait to post this up on, get the link and post it up on YouTube, because I think people are going to want to take notes on those PowerPoint pictures, because I did. I mean, I did. I'm like, oh my gosh, yes, those are some things I need to be doing. I was watching it. And one question I wrote when I was listening is, do you remember what your first vulnerable post was? Like, what was, we talked about, the first slide was about being vulnerable, being real. What were the 4 things you said? Being real, being vulnerable, being interested, and not interested and provide value. So what was your first vulnerable post? Outside of introducing yourself as a Beachbody coach?
Okay, because my first one was putting that horrible picture of myself on Facebook.
Well, that's right. I mean, when
but then beyond that, I probably did make another really vulnerable post. It was last year. I made a post about what depression looks like. And it's a black and white picture. And, my hair's like over my knees. And I was really honest about, there's days that I don't want to get out of bed. There are days when and I don't have too many of those days anymore, which is really awesome because I used to have like 6 out of 7 of those days. My husband was like, something is like wrong with you. I was just really depressed. And I shared that, what that looks like. And it wasn't really it wasn't a Beachbody post, but it was here's where my life was and here's where I am. And I didn't, I think I probably mentioned in there how the support system and taking care of my body was helping taking care of my mind. But I wasn't like, I was depressed, so I did Beachbody. So, you don't even always have to say the specific words. You do need to mention those occasionally, but when you're getting really real and vulnerable, it's hard. Type it out first, but don't critique it. Like, just say what you were going to say, and then don't edit it too much. Just let it be. And there are sometimes I post it and then people are liking it. I'm rereading it 10 times. Oh,
yes, right. I always
post that.
Oh, no, I think that's great, because what you said was, because I think we have a lot of new coaches who are rocking their businesses, and this is great for veterans too, because we get caught in that, let's say that ease of doing things, and we kind of, go and that whole connection you're talking about, what did you say? I wrote so many things down where you were talking about connecting with people and how sometimes we on Facebook and messaging, it does take that out of it. And this is the way business is. This is how we do our business for the most part. So to remember to be real with people, even through Messenger, is so cool. It's so important because we forget. So you said to write your story, and then just take parts and pieces.
Right.
You don't have to share your whole story at once. And I think for new coaches, that's overwhelming, because at some point we do have to show the real us and the things that make us vulnerable, the things that make us who we are. That is vulnerability. And that's what people connect with. And who was I listening to today? It was it was a PD cast, if I can remember it. I'll let you know. But they talk exactly about that, about how that is what people will connect with, is that vulnerable person. Even though we think, oh, they're going to think I'm mad about talking about this or whatever it was, whatever you think that people aren't going to be interested in.
Right.
So writing your story out and then taking a piece of that was such a great point.
Right.
Just,
And you want to make sure that there's either not necessarily even a happy ending, but that there's a transition that's happening. You could say, I'm struggling with anxiety. And here's what I'm doing to work on that. I saw a post about that from a coach earlier today. And here are the steps that I'm taking. Now, she's not at the end. She's not cured just because she did a week of yoga and reading a great book. What she's saying is, here's the steps I'm taking to take care of myself. Because I think, especially as women, I know we have men on our team, but our team is really women heavy. We do not take care of ourselves. We take such good care of everybody around us, and we forget to take care of ourselves. And so those ways that we can show women how to take care of themselves, but still be able to be a good mom, I'm not abandoning my family so that I can take care of myself. Those are really real moments, but people do need that, either the transition or the solution. As far as what you're going to post on your page,
I didn't mean to interrupt you. Go ahead. Right.
Oh, Angel's so sweet. Angel was in the first challenge group I was ever in.
Yes, because, and we remember where I remember where her plank was. It was at McDonald's.
Mine was at McDonald's with my favorite kids, band kids, because I love them.
You all were planking in the what do you
I was like, hey kids, I need to do
it. It was so funny, and they all planked in the seats in the back. And I didn't even eat. You're like, I didn't even eat it.
I didn't eat it. I did. I watched them eat ice cream.
It's so funny. Well, I think that's great, because it is so important to show that transition when you're being vulnerable, guys, because people love, I can't believe my kids are up. This is crazy. Because people love to get caught up in the conversations of what's negative, unfortunately.
Right.
You will find it. You see it all the time on Facebook. Someone posts something negative. My day sucked, period. Oh, mine did, it's like 50, And I'm not saying that I didn't used to post like that back in the day. Totally. I go back and find Time Hop's awesome like that. You find a post and it's like, I really said that. why would I ever, because it didn't provide any value, and it made a lot of people go, oh, I mean, you know what, we are life changers. We've changed our life in some way. So we want to show, like Jessica said, how people can change their lives too.
Right.
So I loved it. I loved everything about this. Oh gosh, there's so many notes. But somebody did ask a question. I think it was, topic. Oh, what was it? Angel asked, maybe another topic for a team call. I don't even know where to start. What was that? With organization, Angel? Or what was it? It was about that time where she's talking about street.
Yeah.
Tracking.
I think Jessica made a good point of just starting with a notebook right now. Because Streak itself, I mean, it is user friendly, but you do have to set it up. And if you're already like going, where do I start? I think Jessica did note. I mean, like literally coaches, there are top coaches, you guys, who use a notebook, one notebook per month, like, or like 3 months. So write every name down, people they talked to, people they followed up with, and then people who have joined. You know, they'll have columns of every day, Monday through Sunday, who they talked to.
Brooke Lipkoff's videos, she's more in depth. I can show you, I'll do a screenshot of what my Zoom looks like. It's very simple. So I don't really get in depth on, I just add their name. So it's basically like they're just in there. And then I don't add anything else about them until we've built the relationship. But it's just another place to put their name. So that I remember, then I'll go through and go, oh, I start from the top of the list and kind of work my way down.
Because it's free. It is free.
I was thinking more the groups that you have figured out, things that you figured out in Facebook to put people into like categories or
yes. Facebook has changed that, and I'm not sure that they really exist like they used to, unfortunately. Last time I tried to use, I can still do it for my invites, because like when I do an event and I invite people, I don't invite anybody I just added this past month. Like I won't invite somebody to a challenge group unless they've approached me. I will not invite them unless we've been friends for like 2 months at least. So, because if I add them right away, they're like, okay, she just friended me to sell to me. So, oh, you can still make friends lists. Okay. Yeah, I've been adding people to a list, but it doesn't show up like in my column like it used to. Maybe they fixed that though.
Yeah, I don't know.
Part of why I went back to Streak, because I was like, oh, Facebook's messing with me.
Maybe that was a good thing for you to go to. But Robin asked, and this is a common question, Robin, this is what do you do when people in a group do not participate? I started one and there are 30 people, but nobody participates. I'm getting discouraged. Well,
you just keep showing up. And that was where, when I started private messaging my challengers to just ask about their day. I mean, Elizabeth's on this call. There were times when it was just me, Elizabeth, and Danielle commenting and posting and commenting and posting. Well, now we've got like 5 or 6 or 7 of us. I mean, there's 42 people in the group, but I'll take 6 or 7 of us commenting. I'm like, yes.
For sure. The majority, Robin.
Is just, and you're going to have groups like that. That's why I just always keep posting my workout and my shake, and I try to change up the content. Like I'll add a Shakeology recipe, like a recipe of the day, and I just get those from Google or Pinterest. Like they're not my recipes. Or I'll share a thing about Shakeology, like an ingredient of Shakeology, and then challenges. And sometimes nobody does the challenges, and that's okay. You're going to have that. But it's going to ebb and flow and ebb and flow.
Robin, is this your social worker group?
It is, and I was very hopeful with my fellow social workers, but they're not participating at all.
You just started it though. Like
I know, I'm very impatient too.
No. See, this is something, it takes time, and what you've started is almost like a like. It's almost kind of like a like page in a way, not that people can add themselves. It's a private group, but I mean, it's kind of like they're there because it's community. Sometimes it's not a challenge group per se. Sometimes they'll, you know, like Jess said, you gotta give them a question. Ask a question.
I did that a few times to see if people would pick up like what was it, on Monday, I took your advice about setting, having them set a goal, which social workers do every day with our students. And mine was just, I put on there to drink my shake every day, and only one person responded. Because I said, so what's your goal going to be for the week? And only one person responded to it.
So what you do, and this is what I do in my challenge groups, you treat that one person like they are like a rock star. So if it's just me and Elizabeth's the only one posting, I'm just going to be like, just commenting on everything Elizabeth posts. And I do that even if there were like 10 people, I'm going to comment. But if she's the only one comment, that's fine. Like, I'm still going to act like it's, this huge thing. And eventually I think people start to go, oh, hey, what are they doing over there? Yeah. Well, I want to get in on that. Ask a random question that doesn't even maybe it's even like apples or oranges. I mean, I'm just kidding. But, like something silly, funny, just to grab their attention and kind of pull them in. But it's going to happen. It's going to happen. And I tell you what, I bet as social workers, you all are not great at taking care of yourselves.
Right. And that's the group that it is. It was focused on self-care. Right. And that was like the best time to like start it, because we were all coming back from break. So everybody was starting their second semester, which is usually like the worst semester in a school, just because the kids are like crazier. So I figured, I'm like, oh, this will be great. People will participate, talk about self-care, whatever they wanted to talk about. But people started joining. There were like 30 people that joined. So I'm like, this is going to be sweet. Everybody's going to do it. The executive director for all Illinois social workers joined it. Kind of freaked me out for a moment there, because I don't know what he was doing. But now nobody's like really participating. I'm starting to feel like self-conscious about it, which is keeping me from posting more. Because I don't want to feel silly, like, oh, I keep throwing it out there, but y'all aren't talking back to me.
But do you remember that post you made, your workout post? That was so good. Did you see how much support you got from that? I mean,
yeah, I put that on my personal page because that was a challenge from Anita.
That you did it. And, I like Jess said, I mean, first of all, just keep doing it. You just keep showing up, because people are kind of watching you, what you're going to post. Maybe do like she said, like, I'm getting a new pair of tennis shoes for my workouts. Here's this A and B. I'm choosing between two. Which one do you like? Do you like A or B? And they'll tell you B, A, B, A. I mean, it sounds silly, but or here's a recipe I'm trying, and just share the recipe, without expecting anything in return. That's something somebody said was, you do these groups or these free groups or these, like pages or even our own personal page. You just post without expecting anything in return. And that's hard, because we want to know how people are thinking. We're like, why are they talking to me? You feel bad, but don't let that. I know you got to kind of just guard yourself and just don't expect anything in return. And then use our team when you need to feel, have someone.
Maybe if you like private message somebody that you are close to, maybe a friend or somebody that you're close to, and invite them or ask them, would you do a post? Like, would you come up with a self-care, something that you do for yourself or that you've heard of, and present it to the group?
Yeah, that's a great
idea. Make them a part of it, I guess, so to speak.
Right.
Like in our challenge groups, we ask for, on Tasty Tuesday, we ask for people to share their recipes. Well, they might not share it under the comments or whatever, but if you were private messaging with them and they said they tried this, then say, well, hey, go ahead and post that on the page so everybody can see it. Because not everybody might see it under the comments if they didn't comment on it. Then they don't get the notification that somebody else has commented. But if they actually take ownership in posting something, even if it's just one thing, like something very simple for them to make a post for.
That's a great tip. And they may not have their notifications on.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, I'm just saying, they may not know posting, they're not popping up because people forget to turn that on to see everyone's post. They just, you know what I'm saying? It's just little things, but you're doing great. The fact that you created that and you've got this community, Robin, don't let that stop you from doing all the other things you're doing, okay? You just keep working on your journey, and then people are going to be attracted to you no matter what, because how could they not be? Because of who you are. So you're amazing. Okay, well, I tell you what, I can't wait to, I mean, seriously, Jessica, thank you so much. That was I love PowerPoints, and that was really, really good. And you,
That was out of my comfort zone.
it's really great. Like, I want to tell people to go watch that. Like, I feel like I want to like post that on the Inspire Empire page, because that's really it's a great call. So anybody, I'm going to unmute. Does anybody have any questions? I know we went over, but I just think it's so important as we go into this next year, that what Jessica shared tonight is key. It is foundational for everything that's going to happen for you guys this year. As you create your challenge groups, as you create your teams, because you're going to have people that want to join you. I was talking to another coach tonight. You know, 2 things that people are looking for right now, guys, are they're worried about their finances and they're worried about their fitness. We have a product that can help both areas if they're willing to work at both, right? Work on their fitness and work a little bit to make a little residual income for their families. I mean, so those are, like just said, those are 2 pain points. And right now people are looking. And I'm telling you, direct marketing, while you may not think a lot of people are thinking about it, they are. They see It Works, they see Miriam, they see Beachbody Coaches, they see these companies, and I promise you, they're going to join one of them. And because I've had it happen to me with a friend or 4 that I thought would be awesome coaches that joined me through their companies or other coaches because I never asked them. Mm-hmm. Do you know what I'm saying? So that's just what people are looking for right now. They really are looking for some residual income. So
with the relationship building, it's not the fast way. But I think, Carl kind of touched on that on Monday. Like, we're not in it for the fast way. We're not in it for the quick money. We're in it, and both my coaches, Elizabeth and Anna, both have said to me recently, I just want to help people. If I could just help someone, feel good and, be able to make this part of their daily life. And so then I'm like, they get it. They totally get that's what it is. And it does take time. It's not going to take as much time with people that already really know you, but to build those relationships with people who don't. And I have people I've known for 20 years, but I didn't know them like I know them now, because now we're like supporting each other in our health too. So it's not the fast way. It's not going to, but I feel like it's the more stable, sturdy way, because it's foundation to build your business on. By having those friendships, they're going to keep coming back. And even if they fall off the wagon, I'm going to be who they come back to.
And I was going to say, Carl's live post today was about that. Don't make the, all access Beachbody about being a Netflix. Make it about changing the person's life and having, making a difference in the relationship that you form with them and finding what works for them. And that's exactly what you talked about.
Right.
Yeah, it's true. We were in it for the long haul. Like just said, you have to have in it for a year attitude, but the longer you're in, the more successful you're going to be, because how could you not be? I always say that the person that's not successful is the one who quits, and I don't mean to say that and that's but it's true. And you guys just have a big picture, help lots of people, and like just said, and like the angel just said, this is foundational, and we're building it now, and we're helping people now. And how could any of your challengers not be successful with you guys as their coaches? Thank you so much, Jess. I want to take a picture, and I'll add people in. I know we went long. This was so good, though.
I'm sorry, I talked a lot.
You didn't know. No, I asked questions because, it was wonderful. We needed this topic. I'm so happy. So let's get in position. And tell me if you're ready. I try to light up our
Who's
our
on the phone?
Who's on the phone? Hello? Is that Sarah? Who's on the phone? Who is it? Sarah? Oh, Sarah went to her phone. Got it. Yeah, okay. All right, well, I'll add a pic. All right, guys. Okay, so on 3, I'll say 1, 2, 3, and I'll say smile. Okay. 1, 2, 3, smile. All right. All right, guys. Thank you so much for spending your time tonight. Taking this time out in your business is so important because when you have teams, guys, you're going to want your team to be on those calls too because it's a business hour, okay? So it's an hour. Turn into an hour. That's okay. Schedule it in, make it happen, and you see your business and your challenge and your coach is successful. All right, guys. Good night, and you guys will see you tomorrow. I'll see you on the chats. Bye. Bye.